Oh, good morning. Good morning. Wow, I guess we're live. First one of these I've ever done. I am a little bit early. I think I set it to 8 o'clock, but I'm just driving, so why not go a little bit earlier? And we're behind. I don't know how I can flip this thing around. This button here. We are behind a very nice Range Rover SV autobiography dynamic. That's like a $230,000 Range Rover. I am going to see if I can pull up some comments here. Let's see. Can I do that? Yes, so I guess you can just comment, hi. Yeah, that works. And we can just have a conversation for however long we all decide to make this go on for. So I'm in a Model S P85 Plus. You probably saw that from the title. And this is my dad's car. We're driving from Stamford, Connecticut, which is where they live. They're in between Stamford and Florida. They're in Florida for COVID, and so the car was just sitting up there. My dad's like, I think I'll sell it. I was like, let's take it down to North Carolina. I can handle that for you. I'll drive it for the next couple of weeks, months, however long, and then we'll eventually sell it. It's totally fine. It's a great car to drive. No autopilot, though. It's an early 2013. Has 112,000 miles on it. We'll hit 113 by the time we get home. And this is not the car we bought in Minneapolis. This is a different car. And, so pretty awesome machine. I definitely like this car a lot. P85 Pluses are pretty rare and very stout. This one's on winter tires. So it's got really soft rubber. So whenever you put your foot down, it's like moving all over the place, which is kind of interesting. And what else should I tell you about the car for the introduction? Just normal P85 Plus. We're going to find out if it's nerfed. I drove this car there's a video, 20 videos ago. I drove this from Stamford to Boston and back. And I kept thinking I was having problems with superchargers, but it was just the battery pack that was limiting. So this car is on old software. For whatever reason, it doesn't think it needs an update. It's on 2019.40, which is just super early software. Not sure why. It's probably stuck somewhere. So I'm going to bring it by the service center when I get down there, and I'm friends with all the guys at the Raleigh Service Center, and we'll try and force whatever the newest update is to the car. So let me show you a little bit of the road. This is lovely New Jersey Turnpike I'm on here, and not much to see except some roadway. But the car seems to have held up pretty well. The wind noise is honestly less than my Model 3. Overall cabin rattles, though. There's a couple in the back, but a lot of Model S's have that. Even new ones. It's better on the Raven cars, I think. The cars seem to be quieter. And the seats haven't started bugging me yet. These are the early Model S seats. They're like basically flat benches. They seem to be fine so far. So, let's see. We're only about 45 minutes to our next supercharger. First supercharger of the trip. We're at 33% battery. I left nearly full. And you guys probably want to see the road and not me, so let me flip this around. There we go. And yeah, this thing's pretty cool. So I guess if you have any questions, you can leave it in the chat. We have quite a few people on here. That's pretty awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. And I don't know if we'll do another one of these live things, but I figured we'll try it, and I'll try it at the worst possible hour, which is early in the morning, just to see what kind of traffic we get. Definitely better than expected. Of course, I've already stopped by Starbucks, and I have picked up the Trenta strawberry acai with light ice, no water, and no inclusions. And I really need to wean myself off of those, but it's very difficult to make it through a day without them. And someone asked, what was the difference between a P85 and a P85 Plus? Well, You have completely adjusted rear suspension, so you have thicker lower control arms, staggered wheels, different software, I believe, to allow for a little bit more slip angle, and I think that's about it. The brakes are the same, sits a little bit lower. It's mostly a suspension upgrade. But in order to get the plus, back then you had to have like everything else. So most P85 pluses are maxed out cars. Like I think this was a $120,000 sticker. It's probably worth 32 grand with the miles on it now, which is a really good steal, I think. Again, the car's super solid. So I like these old Model S's a lot. The rear-wheel drive cars are fine in the snow. They have, again, this one's on some really aggressive winter tires, so it can go through everything. I mean, if you go back and watch, way before I started doing YouTube, Bjorn was out there in Norway in his Model S tearing up the snow, and these things will just go through just about everything, which is kind of nice. So, of course, New Jersey, we're doing New Jersey speed. We're doing about 90 miles an hour right behind a normal flow of traffic. Everyone flies in Jersey. Gotta love it. And that's an alleged 90 miles per hour. That's not accurate at all, of course. Now we have slowed down. This is very cool. I like the live thing. What do you guys think? Does this work for you? Can you hear me okay? I imagine because no one's been complaining about audio, it probably sounds pretty good. Yes, thank you very much for the response. That's awesome. Well, the U.S., someone, I guess, Gary, you must live outside of the U.S. The speed limits are variable depending on, obviously, road type, state, and just different regions. So, like, typically inside metropolitan areas, like highways that run through cities, you'll see 55 miles per hour or so. And then out on transit sections like I am now, it's 65, 70 for the most part. Although when you start getting out west, where it's a little bit, flatter, you can see 80 mile an hour speed limits, even 85 in some sections. So mic could be better. I agree. I have a mic now when I'm doing all my videos. Of course, I mic myself up, but for the live, it doesn't tie into my iPhone. So sorry about that. I guess I can find a mic to do into my iPhone, but if I end up doing more lives, I'll definitely take care of the audio for you guys. I don't like listening to things with bad audio. I'm sure you are all the same. What's the next EV I'm going to test? Great question. You may have noticed I have been getting more cars to review, and that's partially because of our partnership with Inside EVs. So Inside EVs does something like 5-6 million people per month look at the site. I handle all of their video content now. We're sort of starting slow for COVID, and then we'll ramp it up. But that means now I get access to press cars. And so press cars can be used for Inside EVs, out of spec, Motor One, which is their like gas car sister site. So like this week I have a Lexus LS 500 hybrid that's sitting at home, and that thing has massaging seats and is very comfortable and it's awesome. And then like next week I have a Land Cruiser, but there's really not much that my audience wants to see with those cars. I'd like to transition and open up to a broader audience, not just with EVs with these cars, because I'm a general car enthusiast, but I definitely believe electric is the future. But it's going to be a tough transition for everyone because, let's say 90% of my current audience really likes electric cars. So the next EV I'm going to test, let's see, I just am trying to work a Taycan because I know everyone probably wants to see that. I've asked for a 4S with the big battery, which is like the efficiency long-range thing, because I'd like to take it on a road trip, maybe break my electric cannonball record. Although Porsche was kind of like, you cannot do that with our car. So I need to find someone who owns a Taycan who will let me go and do a cannonball they can come along, of course. They can sit in the back and not say much. But actually, I think it would be tough to beat the Model 3 right now. There's been 7, the Cannonball Run record for the gas cars has been broken 7 times in the last 5 weeks. And we're down to 25 hours New York to LA right now, which is just insane. 2,850 miles with an average speed of over 110 miles per hour. I mean, these people are insane. I think it's really cool. There's never been a major accident on a Cannonball type event, but that's the times are getting crazy. The electric car, I've held this record for 9-10 months, something like that. I did it in September last year. So shows we've done a really good job, because I know people have tried. I've heard of about 5 different attempts to break our record, but they haven't. Yes, I saw Tech Addicted. I saw Bjorn did test the 4S. I believe he still has it, Taycan, and that is going to be a really cool car. It would be great to compare the big battery to his in similar tests, although he does typically 90 kilometer per hour range test videos, and driving 90 kilometers per hour just takes so much time. So I'll do the 70 mile per hour ones, and maybe he'll do one as well. We'll see. Bjorn is definitely the OG when it comes to range tests. I kind of do them, fill in where people want to see. Interesting though, the Hyundai Kona range test and the Chevy Bolt range test, I did them sort of back to back for the last 2 videos. I posted the Kona's last, the most recent, and it's done double the views of the Bolt. So I don't know if that's just algorithms, or twice as many people, maybe even more because of less dwell time, are interested in the Kona over the Bolt. Let's see. You are from Ghana and you want to buy a P100D. Well, that shouldn't be too difficult. You can find like a vehicle exporter in the U.S. Tesla legally cannot sell a car if they know it's being exported. So what you'll usually find is like a second-hand vehicle with low mileage that's up for sale. The exporters kind of buy those things up and then send them to other countries. There's this one guy, I think I'm friends with him on Facebook. Gosh, I can't remember his name, but he does like Model 3s to India and all these random countries all over the place, Africa. I know the president of the Dominican Republic drives a Model 3, which is pretty cool. That I don't know where he got that car from, but you can get it exported. Just look up places in the U.S. You'll find a consultant. They'll buy one and ship it to you. Shouldn't be too difficult. And yeah, I see some comments about the Kona being a global vehicle. I agree. That's probably the reason it's doing better. Although, still 70-80% of our audience is in the U.S. So I'm curious as to if that's really the case, or if it's just that the Kona's cooler. Personally, I like the Kona better than the Bolt. Even though the Bolt is a ground-up EV, I think Hyundai's done a great job converting that Kona. My dad's in here. Hey, Dad. Everyone say hey to my dad. And he's awesome. I'm driving his car, of course. And he exported a Kona electric to Guatemala, which was interesting. So he originally bought the first Kona electric, the SEL, which is the base one. He wanted to get an ultimate. The guy who bought it on eBay is like a really awesome dude in Guatemala, and so I shot an intro to a video that I'll be doing at some point, which is intro to the videos at the port of Delaware, loading the Kona onto a boat, and then we'll pick up the video in Guatemala and see what it's like to live with an EV in a developing country. I think that would be really interesting. And right, so Brandon's here. Hey, Brandon. It says the Bolt is a good-looking car, but the Kona and Niro are better. I agree. The Kona is awfully ugly. I cannot stand looking at that car. The Niro looks better. I've driven the Niro as well. I was at an auto show in Los Angeles earlier this year, and they did like some media drive. So I just drove one around the block, basically to see how good of a burnout it would do, and it does a great burnout, just like the Kona. But yeah, the Kona is just so ugly. It's an awesome car, though. I'd still buy it over the Bolt, but honestly, I'd buy a Model 3 over either of them for me. That's why I drive a Model 3. But I'm still waiting for a non-Tesla EV to really tick all the boxes. Taycan is really good. For me, it's lacking cargo space, and the price is just astronomical. I think these cars are going to tank like rocks. e-tron, I-Pace, Taycan, they're going to be really inexpensive, comparably in just a few years. So I won't be surprised if we see sub $50,000 Taycans within 3 years. Interesting that everyone's commenting there's nothing like the Bolt in Europe, but didn't they sell the Opel Ampera E? I'm pretty sure it's the same car, just with an Opel badge on it. Maybe they don't make it anymore. Opel could have gone out of business. Someone's asking about Tesla Fest East. That's a tough one. We've had 2 really successful Tesla events at our track. But honestly, it's a lot of work. People come. We've had a couple people tear up their Teslas, which is on them. Everyone's insured. If you want to be like, that's fine. But it's kind of a lot of work. I don't really know if I have the time to do it. I mean, I'm doing YouTube now. I have other gigs going on. So if someone wants to handle the marketing side of it, wants to handle the logistics, reach out to me. I'm happy to do one, but I just need a little bit of help for the event. So, and Opel was sold to PSA, and PSA is now partnering with Nissan, is it? And Nissan's not in good shape. I don't know what they're going to do. They should have the new Nissan Ariya, which is like the next-gen Leaf coming, all-wheel drive. I'm pretty excited about that car. But yeah, I guess they dissolved the Ampera E. That would have been a cool car for Europe. The problem with the Bolt is never found a dealer wanting to sell an Ampera E. Well, it's the same in the U.S. No dealers like to sell EVs. Why would you, if you're a salesperson, you think about it from an individual's point of view, why would they go out of their way to try to train someone on an electric car when they can just get them into the next, Chevy Cruze lease? That's a tough sell. So, you can certainly make the case for electric cars, but do you make any more money as a salesperson by selling an EV? The answer is no. I would think it'd be really cool to have the manufacturers be like, all right, you make $150 flat. It's about all they make on cars anyway, on a gas car, but you can make $400 or $500 flat on an EV. Like, really incentivize the salesperson to pitch an electric vehicle. Kings Martin's asking, what is the range difference between long-range performance and P100D? Google will know more than I will off the top of my head, but I can tell you what the differences are. Same battery pack, 100 kilowatt hour. There may have been a slight revision, but same battery pack. You have a permanent magnet front motor in the long-range cars, long-range performance, the Raven. That's a little bit more efficient than the old induction type motor on the P100D. And so now you are able to shut off the rear motor and run the permanent magnet up front, which is much better for efficiency. And other differences are, well, that's the reason the range is better on the new ones, but you have totally revised suspension from oh my goodness, I'm trying to remember the name. They're a big supplier for BMW as well. Just a general, tier 1 supplier suspension design system for the new Model S's. It's adaptive, 2 settings. It's really good. If you have not driven a Raven S or X, especially Model X, it makes a night and day difference between the old cars. Model X's always rode like they were kind of trucks, and the newer ones are so much better. Yeah, someone brings up Rivian. This is a company I'm really excited about. I've spoken to Rivian marketing team. Obviously, they are pretty eager. I should be back now, hopefully.
let's take a look. How are we looking? I think we're good. Someone comment down below. Hey, yes, good. Sorry about that, guys. That was kind of a mess. I got a phone call from the rental car place because I left it at my parents' house when I picked up the Model S. They're like, we can't find the car. I'm like, oh, well, I hope no one has taken it. So anyway, I think they found it. They're going to want their car back, so I hope they look for it. And I definitely don't want to get charged for a few more days. Let's adjust this back. So I think I left you at the Rivian discussion. I saw that somewhere in the comments. And yeah, I'm just very excited for Rivian. I think they're going to have a very solid product. I've met a lot of the engineers on the product. Yeah, a lot. Especially when I was at Fully Charged Live in Austin, I spent like 3 hours geeking out. I think I just need to raise this up a little bit. Yeah, I spent like 3 hours geeking out with their lead battery tech engineer, and he was brilliant, really smart guy. We talked a lot about their reasoning for going with a 400 volt system instead of an 800 volt, sort of their plans to up the voltage in the future. So Rivian, I think, will tick that box of being better than a Tesla for some cases. And then Lucid also, not maybe particularly with the Air. I'm not so hot on that car. I just don't think it looks great from the outside, but their technology is amazing. I got to spend a few hours with the CEO of Lucid, Peter Rollinson, who engineered this car, the Model S, and he has a great team of mostly ex-Tesla engineers. I mean, everyone there is like, oh yeah, I worked at Tesla in 2012, 2010. Like, you know, it's just pretty crazy. So I got to spend a half a day at their design center, geeking out. A lot of things that I can't talk about, but amazing stuff. And so we have more questions about what the plus stands for in P85 Plus. Let me just adjust this a little bit more than I had. There we go. Right, so the Plus gets different suspension, basically upgraded. Someone's asking about the price per kilowatt hour for batteries. Well, we've seen like that has been dropping really fast. Everyone says that the tipping point to make electric cars on price parity with internal combustion cars is $100 per kilowatt hour. I think we're what, 112, 115 or something like that Tesla's at. So we're not far off. And I'm honestly no battery expert. I can't make a prediction, but I don't think we're very far away from that price parity. At this point, if you look at like pure cost and you just want a normal car, you kind of cannot, if you drive a lot, you got to buy an electric car. Like a Model 3 makes so much sense. Ed, this is not the car I drove to get in Minnesota. That was for Alyssa's uncle. That was a 100D. And that car is still doing well. Actually, the MCU on that car locked up. He replaced it with another MCU one. And I think, did he do that? I don't know. He was working with the electrified garage to get it sorted. And he has full self-driving, or he's planning to purchase full self-driving so he can get the free M. Which I think that makes sense. Yeah, I definitely want to get a haircut. Thanks, RJ from Sweden. And I've been driving a lot of Volvos, RJ. That's but I guess they're manufactured in China, but they're engineered in Sweden. So I'm sure you see a lot around your country. Yeah, the haircut situation's been pretty brutal. When when they locked down North Carolina, it was already I was already delayed for a haircut, and so now it's just been a little bit farther back than that. So not the end of the world. Just an update on our trip so far. I've driven 157 miles today. We're going through the Easy Pass booth. There is an Easy Pass in the car. Normally I just blow through these and get the bill in the mail. And we're at 18% state of charge, which should be fine because we only have 14 miles to go. So we won't make it. We won't make it without a problem. That'll be great. Should be no problem is what I'm trying to say. It's still early in the morning. I was up at 2:30 this morning. Just couldn't sleep, so decided to get on the road. Oh, someone from Australia placed the order for Model 3. Well, the factory's still shut down, so, or maybe they just started back up. But anyway, I'm sure there's a lot of people waiting for their cars. I don't know, but I would imagine it would take a little while to get to Australia from California. I don't think they're sending the made in China cars outside of China yet, although that would make sense logistically. So, I don't know. So what do you guys think about out of spec transitioning to like not just electric cars, but maybe some plug-in hybrid tech? Obviously I did Volvo video and that video flopped, but I looked around, no one was really interested in that car anyway. You know, everyone, whenever I post a Tesla video, it's like, whoa, it blows up, like 100, 200,000 view road trip, cross-country stuff. Like, I know what people want to see, but that's gonna get old real quick. So I'm trying to diversify our content a little bit. When we have access to the track, we have really cool cars, a new car every single week from a manufacturer for us to do things with. And so I'm curious to see what you all think would be fun to do with these cars. Am I going to get my hands on a Taycan? Yeah, I talked about this a little bit earlier. I am. I don't know which version. There's a 4S sitting in the press fleet in Atlanta that I believe I can get, and there's a Turbo S out of New York. So I'm looking forward to either version. I've driven Taycan a few times now, and I really absolutely love it. I think it's an awesome car. Have become friends with one of the lead engineers at Porsche, who's since retired, and Taycan was his last project, so sort of got the inside scoop on a lot of things and learned about the inner workings, so that was really cool. And yeah, someone mentioned the Prius Prime. I'm getting that car in 2 weeks, and yeah, I don't really know anything about it, but I'm sort of on a string of Toyotas. So I have the Lexus LS 500H at home now. I had a Toyota Camry rental car yesterday to drive up here, which I was very impressed with, by the way. I actually think the Camry drove better than the LS 500. Anyway, I'll write a review about why that's the case. And then I have a Land Cruiser next week because I'm moving and I asked for something big. So I'm going to tow like a U-Haul trailer. And then, yeah, so Toyota Streak and then the Prius Prime. So, yeah, Prius Prime is kind of wild. I don't know anything about it, but people love them. I met a guy recently. You don't need to see me while I'm talking. We're going over this cool bridge. I met a guy recently who drives a Prius Prime, and he's like, I own a Ferrari, and this thing's way better than my Ferrari. So, you know, the title of the video is going to be Prius Prime, better than a Ferrari. And my friend Jim has multiple Ferraris that I'll probably use one of them in the video, and we'll find ways to make the Prius Prime win. So it'll be kind of a joke, but somewhat interesting. So that's the plan with the Prius Prime, is to see if it's truly better than a Ferrari. Yeah, so we're 12 minutes from the supercharger. We're going to the Newark, Delaware supercharger, my favorite spot. Reason being, there's a Panda Express there. So, yeah, I think that is going to be a really cool thing. Although Panda Express at 8 in the morning is not a good recipe for a road trip for the rest of the day, so we'll avoid it. Sorry, for some reason the comments are going, oh, I guess I can go back to see. I'm still figuring out the live stuff. Let's take a look. Someone said, where am I moving to? So I live in Raleigh, North Carolina now, which is the capital of the state, and where the track and studio and like everything where the video should be based out of is an hour and a half roughly one way. And so Alyssa and I are moving to Rocky Mount, which sort of splits the difference. It's about a little bit closer to the track than Raleigh. The problem is the track's really in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's almost unlivable where it is. It is very rural. Rocky Mount is still very rural, and it is not the nicest of towns, but it is going to be a better thing to live there. So we found a really cool spot in Rocky Mount. It's like this restored mill like community, and they have like 5 breweries and 4 restaurants, but they're adding 2 more, and there's like 60 homes all around. They're all very small, but the size of like a 2-bedroom apartment, but finished really nice on the inside. So granite countertops, hardwoods, really premium finishes, and a giant backyard for the dogs. So I'm looking forward to that. We do have a supercharger nearby in Rocky Mount, but it's a version 2, but capped at 120 kilowatt. But I won't need to use it much. They actually have free Tesla destination chargers at this mills that we're moving to, right across the street from the house. So I'll take the free juice and charge it at the track, and I'll probably put a 1450 on the side of the house just to have, in case it's raining, optionality. But the mills were like, take our free electricity, we don't care. And as an EV owner, you guys know we'll take the free juice if they're giving it to us. So that's always great. Oh, pizza topping, and this has come up a few times. I always get pepperoni sausage toppings on my pizza. So if you ever want to send a pizza to the track, send a pepperoni sausage. That's actually what all of us, Alyssa, everyone in my family, we've always been good with pepperoni sausage. Here, let's flip this around again. We can look at the road for a little bit. You gotta let me know, is the road shaky in this view? Because from my side, looking at the screen, it seems to be quite rough. Going over those expansion joints. Somewhat. Okay. So now are we in Delaware yet? I think we crossed the bridge, so the answer is yes. And if you get pulled over in Delaware, because there's a cop sitting right here, I believe it's a mandatory court appearance. So we're going to try to avoid this. Angle the cam up a little bit. Okay. I can try. There we go. Only another 8 minutes to the supercharger. First one on the trip. I'm going to take a look on the screen to see if anyone is there. Clicking on the supercharger now. And the answer is 12 of 12 available. And it says 150 kilowatt max. Now this is going to be the question. How nerfed is this Model S battery pack? If you go in the news, everyone's written articles about capping the top cell voltage on the 85 kilowatt hour packs when they get older, just to protect themselves, but also limiting supercharging. So, is it really going to be limited by a lot? I'm curious. If you go back, oh, this is kind of weird. It just stopped reading outside temperature. It just shows dash, dash, dash Fahrenheit. Old Model S things, they're always a little glitchy. I'm sure that'll come back at some point. Yeah, so, will we see 70 kilowatt? Will we see 120, 130? I think the fastest I've seen a 85 kilowatt hour pack charge is 128, 129 kilowatt. We'll be pulling it at around 10%. So we'll be right in the sweet spot. These packs do like to charge quickly when they're dead, though, so we'll definitely see. Let's take a...
So my dad texted me, he wanted
How are we looking on audio now? Are we back? Are we back with audio? No audio? Back on? Great. That was weird. I had to click mute and then unmute, and that fixed it. Thanks everyone for joining on the trip. Everyone loves out-of-spec road trips, including myself. They're definitely really fun. This is a relatively short road trip, only about 600 miles or so, but we'll get in a solid 3 or 4 supercharging stops, so we can have a little bit of fun there. And
these seats are not bad. I'm still pretty comfortable. Before I started the live stream, I was jamming out to some audio, and the sound system in this car still is one of the best. Not as good as that Volvo Polestar that I had a couple weeks ago, but Tesla did a really good job on this. Audio is gone. Oh no! Hold on.
let's see if I can fix it this time. All right, are we back? We should be. Yeah, the audio was inconsistent because it kept trying to connect to Bluetooth in the car, so I just shut Bluetooth off. Sorry, guys. First live stream. I can't check text messages, and I cannot do anything except keep the phone on this, so that's what we will do. We have a power limit at 12%. It's still, 300 kilowatt, but I get the little dash on the screen. So I'm curious to see how out of whack this BMS is on this car. Again, it's sat for like 2 months at 50% plugged in. So, basically the car is going to get confused where it is. Sit between third, let it complete, drain it, and retrain where the state of charge is. So 12% might be something totally different. So we're just going to look at power limit. If it gets real low, we'll take it easy. But for now, we'll easily make it to our supercharger in 2 miles from here. So should be good. Sound is better. Great. Well, I will try not to adjust anything. I won't check any texts. And sorry if you're texting me, but I can't respond. Someone asked, did I try any version 3 superchargers with Model 3? Yes, many times. Since the beginning, actually. I went to the first supercharger V3, I guess maybe the second. It was at the design studio in Hawthorne with my black rear-wheel drive 3 right after it went in. And that supercharger V3 was great. It shot up to 252 kilowatt and just ripped it straight through. And I was like, this is awesome. And then the last few times I've used them, I've gotten very inconsistent results similar to our audio here. We are getting off here to the supercharger, so I'll show you that as we get off the road. And yeah, very inconsistent results at version 3 superchargers. Some didn't even work at all. I did a video on that. I think there's some communication issues between them, to be honest. So the superchargers are right there on our left. So we are going to pull in here. This place is great. They have a ton of restaurants inside. Starbucks drive-thru. I went through that on the way up here yesterday. So which one should we choose? We have plenty to choose from. I always try to choose the ones that are hardest to back into because you would think those are the least used. But I'm just going to take one at random. Doesn't really matter which. So I guess we'll put it this way. Let's back it in. And I'll go plug this thing in, pull you off, and we'll take a look at how this thing charges. I'm really curious to see how nerfed it is. 1 second, let me go plug in. All right, plugged in 12%. We did 329 watt hour per mile, 336 across 170. Let me flip this around so I can show you. So these are our stats. This is from a rest stop that I went to get this phone mount that I was using. This is since I left the house, 170 miles. And we're ramping up here. Let's shut off climate control. Well, we're past 70 kilowatts. That is great news. Whoa, over 100. This thing is not that slow. Now what we need to see is where the taper point is. 115. This thing's ripping along pretty good. No complaints here on an old 85 pack. Again, this thing has... Hold on, let's load up this screen. It's MCU1. Takes a little while. There we go. 112,000 miles on this thing. Yeah, some people think the nose cone cars look better than the non-nose cone cars. I tend to believe the new ones look way better, personally. But let me show you around this car since we're parked here. Here it is. Dolphin gray. Yes, we're in I-95 right here in Delaware, Newark. Yep. You can see these real knobby winter tires. These things are meaty. What are they? They're Nokian Hakkapeliitta R3s. There we go. And I always love this. When you pull in low, that thing charges real quick. Or flashes real quick, I should say. It's always great. Nice dark tints on this car, too. Okay, 100 kilowatt. Yeah, this thing's going to taper really quick on this car. I've seen a few comments. I agree. I think the plan here is just to try to arrive as low as possible at the next charger. But I don't think I want to stretch it all the way to Fredericksburg. The problem is all these ones in between are like metropolitan superchargers. Some are urban, some are fast, but they're like a pain to get to. So let's see. This is 72 kilowatt. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. These are way too off the road. We could go to Springfield. It's only 100 miles, so we would probably need to charge up to 60 or 70%. I would imagine. Yeah, it wants 30 minutes here. To me, this is such a long time. In a Model 3, I usually only charge for 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes, and then I'm off. This isn't that bad, though. Let's just see. We could always just top up here really quick, run to this one, which is right off the highway, zap up, and then stretch it to maybe Springfield, Woodbridge. Springfield's that one. That may not be a bad plan. Let's just see what this taper looks like. If it's a really aggressive taper, which it is, then we will definitely just kind of hop at more superchargers and charge for less periods of time. But 94 kilowatts, fine. That I'm not displeased with. I mean, at 20% sure, but yeah, it's no Model 3, that's for sure. No Model 3. What amenities are around the station? Well, this building has everything you could ever need. Restrooms, showers, Panda Express, enough to live, and a Starbucks. So for me, I could just move in right here, and this would be perfect. So I'm going to put you back on this cheap phone mount that I bought, and we'll do a little bit more Q&A for however long this wants to go. And sorry, we're just getting it locked in. There we go. Yeah, we're still above 90 kilowatt at 20%. Not bad, not bad. Would you send a glimpse without speed? I'm not quite sure what that means. Is that like glimpse, like a location thing? You know what's funny is I've met so many of the viewers at superchargers. Typically, everyone I go to, someone's like, "Oh, you're the guy who did the thing," and I've always met super nice people. It's always been really great. So that's been fun. Oh, is someone talking about iMeves? Oh, iMeves are there. You know what's funny is there's one on Turo in my city, so I have to Turo it. It's only like $29 a day or something, but I really want to do something with an iMev, which would be really cool. Yes, I'm charging right now. We're doing 89 kilowatt at 22%. It is just so, but it's holding around 90, so that's okay. Did I sanitize the cable? No. I did get a mask when I go in buildings. They require it up here. I'm totally fine with that. I think that's smart. And yes, but in North Carolina, we're a little bit different. Remember to wash my hands. Absolutely. I have wipes and things, so I will do that. And I've been trying to be very conscious of like just touching stuff in general. Like when I grabbed the charging handle, I used my sweatshirt. Is there any V3 superchargers coming to NC? I know they'd like to. I've had a lot of conversations with Supercharger team. Can't really share too much, but hopefully we'll have some cool things to share in the future. That's probably what I can leave it at. Haircuts, yeah, we need to get some haircuts going in North Carolina really badly. And then someone mentioned the Renault Twizy, which is my favorite electric car, probably more so than the electric smart car that I own. The Twizzies are awesome. And there's a few that were legally imported into the US in partnership with Nissan and some ride sharing company in San Francisco. And so if anyone sees a Twizy for sale, you need to let me know so I can get it, because they're so cool. You sit one person in front and behind, and it's really cool. There's a Twizy with 100 horsepower. That's pretty cool. What do I think about Tesla's upcoming battery day? I don't know. We'll see what they say. They've hyped certain events where they've given us nothing. They have also done a lot without. Basically, what's going to happen is you'll have a big fight afterwards, as always, which is half the people want more from Tesla, half the people are like blown away. So that's about all I can predict right now from battery day. Twizy in the US will be crushed within seconds. Maybe. I've survived so far in the smart cars, so and so we'll see. Oh, you could lease a Twizy in Quebec. That's really interesting. I just love those things. They're so quirky. If you don't know what we're talking about, Google TWIZY. Is that how you spell it? And just Twizy Electric. It'll autocorrect to it. And they're so cute. You can ship them to do like 85, 90 miles per hour. And, I was talking to a company in the UK who wanted to do a spec autonomous Twizy racing series and to use our track as the host for that. And I was all about it. I think that'd be really cool. So basically you'd have software engineers coding in autonomous vehicle software on the same cars and see which coder can make them go around the track the fastest. I thought that was a brilliant idea. And so I was talking to them end of last year. I should probably follow up to see how much progress they've made. I don't know how they would fund it. There's not much money in that space. That's a weird thing to fund. Doesn't matter. I'd love to host it if they're willing to let us. That'd be really cool. No heater or AC in Twizy. Yes, I agree. You know what? We're still above 80 kilowatt at 28%. 82 kilowatt, 28%. Not too bad. It really isn't. I think the big key here is when do we taper under 50 kilowatt, let's just say, because 50 is already really slow. I really don't want to be sitting around charging less than 50 kilowatt for long. If you've just joined the stream, which it sounds like many people have, thank you, first of all, for joining. And feel free to ask questions. I'll answer them. Hopefully, if they fling across the screen, we got a lot coming through. But I'm driving from Stamford, Connecticut to Raleigh, North Carolina, back to home in my dad's Tesla Model S, P85 Plus with 112,000 miles on it. And this thing's pretty sweet. It's held up really well. He is the second owner of this car, but the first owner treated it well. And yeah, it's pretty solid. I like this car a lot. Oh, someone said that their Model S85 got slower. Are you talking about charging speed or acceleration? Because I punched it in this thing. It spun the tires past 50 miles an hour. So this one hasn't gotten slower in terms of speed. We'll definitely take it to the track and do a one lap with it to see the difference between this and like the new top of the range performance ludicrous Model S. I think that'd be kind of interesting to see how much progress they've made in their top trim car over the last 6-7 years, right? Be kind of cool. Someone asked who has better amenities, supercharging stations or Electrify America stations, and it's very much a mix. The thing with Electrify America is they're usually on the East Coast, all at Walmarts. So like when I did the Kona Electric New York to Miami trip and back, I got the tour of Southeast Walmarts. It was just awful. They work really well. They have clean restrooms. You can get food in them, but it just is very repetitive. I tend to like the superchargers because they're at various locations, especially up here in the Northeast. You can choose which supercharger you want to go to. There's like 40 around here. It's pretty amazing. So I I tend to just go to the ones that will get me to my destination quickest. But if you were particular about amenities, you would have the option to say, I don't want to go to that station, I'll go to this one. What's the name of my signature Starbucks drink? Okay, I think I said it earlier. It's get ready for this and write this down. Before I say this, I get more emails, at least 3 to 4 a day, asking me what this is. And so I should just put that in the bottom of the videos in the description. This is a Trenta, that's the size, strawberry acai, which is the flavor of the concentrate, with light ice, because I like more concentrate, no water, no lemonade, so it's just straight concentrate, and no strawberry inclusions, those little ugly, gross strawberries that they put in there that have worms living in them. Don't want any of that. So you go straight concentrate, a little bit of ice, shake this thing up, and that's what keeps me going till about 5 p.m. Then I crash. So I definitely try to go to bed early, wake up early. My dad's working deals in the comments. Dad, don't badger our viewers selling your car. Let's just let them enjoy. Yeah, but it is for sale if someone wanted to buy it. But don't buy it yet. I'd like to live with this car for the next couple months before we sell it. I think I got some videos to make. I'm making a video now on the road trip, which reminds me I have to film. You know what? Maybe we'll just keep it to the live stream. I already missed plugging into the supercharger, and this was the first one. So yeah, we'll keep it to the live stream. This is our road trip video in the Model S. People can go back and watch this. Not that they will, but they can. Yeah, I don't know how long we'll go on for. We're doing 52 minutes already, but we'll go until people don't want to watch anymore. So I'm happy to go. I mean, I'll be in the car. May as well do it. I think Bjorn does like 7, 8, 9 hour live streams sometimes. If people are willing to watch, well, I'll keep this thing going. That's no problem. Let me plug in my phone, though. I think everyone's waking up. Good morning, everyone. Oh, people were asking about internships. Am I hiring? Well, I think we are starting to bring on a videographer, which will really help. I do most of our editing, but that's going to be offloaded soon. I have to do about 3 to 4 videos a week on average. 2 of them can be pretty low budget, shoot it with your iPhone stuff that really, like for range tests and things. But some of them really take a lot of time. And what's the funny thing is most of the videos with the lowest amount of effort do the best. And like go back and like view out of spec videos from most viewed to least viewed. And one of the most viewed is me talking to a camera for like 12 minutes about my Model 3 rear wheel drive. It has like 200 and something thousand views. And yeah, that always blows me away. But it's the case. Everyone says it, yeah, I do. I'm out of spec is contracted to make videos for other people now. So, yeah, we need a videographer. If you're good with any of these skills and you're local, let me know. I think that'd be kind of cool. Am I seeing restrooms closed on the road trip? You're probably from Canada because you said washrooms. It's possible. I haven't gone in to try any yet. Yesterday, I just got in that Toyota Camry rental car and drove it straight up. The only stop I had was at this Starbucks right in front of me, and here in Delaware. But this was my only stop on the whole trip to Connecticut. I did almost run out of gas. I did have to get gas in Newark, New Jersey, which is different than Newark, Delaware, which is where we are now. And that is not the best town to run out of fuel in. But I had like 1 mile to empty. I'm like, I cannot find fuel. So I had range anxiety in a gas car. Have not experienced that ever in an EV because you know where the chargers are and you're kind of thinking about it more than just gas cars. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Let's see. Did we just buy this car? No, I think my dad's had this for a little while, maybe 6 months, something like that. But yeah, they have a Model Y on order as well. We'll see some fun stuff with them. My mom drives a Model 3. We did a video of her drifting around the racetrack in her Model 3. And if you haven't yet checked that out, she was a good sport. We were full sideways. She was screaming. It was great. Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for joining. North Carolina represent. That's awesome. Yes, I, may not have grown up in North Carolina, but I definitely love our state. It is a great place to live. We're so close to the beach, so close to the mountains, and we have the coolest racetrack there. So you got to come hang out at the track. Yeah, people are talking about my mom's Model 3 video. Yes, you guys remember that. And we should put her in a Model S Performance. I used to own a Model S P100D, and I had it for a year. Before I was doing YouTube, this is back when I worked at Tesla and wasn't allowed to do YouTube. So actually, the second video ever on Out of Spec is with that Model S P100D, where my friend Ben and I just went to go shoot something for fun. So if you haven't, go take a look at the early stuff. But yeah, we had the P100D roasting tires in donuts. That was really cool. But yeah, my mom's gone for launches in that car, and she does not like it. Not for her. Yep. Did I work at a Tesla store? Yes, in New York for the New York metro region, and then in the southeast region in Raleigh. That's where the office was. Hope to come up to the track soon. Yes, that would be great. I think if there's enough interest, we should do another Tesla Fest East. I was talking about this earlier. If someone's interested in doing the marketing, handling the back-end paperwork to make it happen, feel free to do it and we'll make it happen. But honestly, I don't want to do all that work. It's really just a lot of tedious stuff. You get everyone canceling at the last minute because of something, then it's all pretty good, but not really easy to do from my side. What's my take on a better route planner? Well, I've met some of the guys from a better route planner, not on the engineering side, on the funding side of things. The guy who basically pumped money into the whole project, seed money. They're based in Sweden, in a town called not Gothenburg, I forget. Anyway, they're basically part of an incubator program for the local university. Really cool company. They have like a U.S. ambassador that I saw speak at Fully Charged Live in Texas. And what do I think about them? Well, I think their service is amazing. They're very accurate. When I did when I did the Cannonball Run and I plugged in all the numbers, what we're going to be cruising at, our charging speed, they were within, I think, 15 minutes over a 2,850 mile journey. So that was pretty amazing. And those guys are doing a really, really good job. And I think you can sign up to be like a beta driver for them. I haven't, but to do like making sure that their calculations are correct for the car's efficiency. So yeah, cool stuff. I'm a big fan. Like them a lot. What do I think is the minimum charge speed for an EV today? Well, a lot of it has to do with the battery pack size and sort of the use case. But that made me think to look over here at the Tesla. We're at 45% state of charge, only doing 57 kilowatt. Oh, the Model 3, for reference, will do 100 kilowatt at 50%. And the reason I'm saying percent is because that's sort of what the batteries can take. Rated miles will be different, though. I'm just switching this car to see what it thinks rated range would be. 112 miles, and yeah, we're only doing 56 kilowatt. Not good. So we're gonna look at what our options are to get out of here so we can get back on the road. I'm gonna put us back into energy. Let's see. Letting the car do its thing. Still faster charging than a Leaf. Yeah, but who wants to road trip one of those? No thermal management, really slow charging, have to rely on a CHAdeMO network. No thanks. Sorry to be so negative on the Leaf. I think the car's great around town, but not for me. I definitely don't like it. Did I work at the meatpacking district? No, but I definitely have been there, and it was really good. So I'm going to pull you out of the mount here just to show you this really quick. The car is wanting us to spend another 30 minutes here We're already at 47%, doing only 54 kilowatts. So this thing's like out of its mind. And then to go all the way to Fredericksburg. So this is why you should not trust Tesla Trip Planner for speed. What we are going to do is to first see, this would be the ideal next stop location because it's right off the highway, plenty of superchargers, and 150 kilowatt. And that's 100 miles away. We're at 47%. So let's see how much longer the car thinks we need to sit here in order to make it there. Let's see. Sorry for moving the camera around. Okay, so now it wants to go to Aberdeen. See, this is some of the stuff. We're going to remove charging stops. Right, when you click on a supercharger and it says 111 miles, that's as the crow flies. So this is it. This is smart. We should wait here because we only need another 4% to make it at 0. And then from that 4% to 0, we should probably give ourselves in this car, let's just say a 5 to 8% buffer. And then what I can do is, if for whatever reason we're really not tracking the efficiency we should be, I have plenty of backup options. And this is roughly the same distance around left as it is to right, whichever way I go around DC. I don't think we'll have a ton of traffic today because of COVID, and we should be hitting it after rush hour. But DC is always the big holdup on this trip. I do it often, so let's try to avoid that for sure. Yeah, so I think we'll just kind of hang out here for another few more percent. We're not even at 50 yet, but we're doing, so it's 50 kilowatt at 50% roughly will be our mark. We should take a look in the future to see if that number is consistent with what we get at the next few superchargers. So, right, 90Ds stay above 90 kilowatt until 50% SOC. I agree. Model 3s will do over 100, so that is, this is kind of a bummer in P85s. Or any 85 kilowatt hour pack. Imagine driving a Model S 60 with this nerfing stuff. That would be brutal. All right, so now I'm putting us back in the mount. It was not the store on Washington Street. It was Mount Kisco and the Westchester Mall. Okay. Should be back now. I think I lost audio for a second, but I think we are okay. Model S 40, yes, people remember those. This was a thing. And you know what's even crazier with Model S 40s? When you go on Auto Trader or cars.com, you go Model S search least expensive to most. A lot of the really cheap ones are Model S 40s, and people don't realize you cannot supercharge those things. They are 100 and something miles of range when new. They're 60 kilowatt hour packs that are software limited, and no supercharging available on 40s. They can all be upgraded to 60s and upgraded to do supercharging. So most have already been done. Very few people bought them anyway. It's sort of like the base Model 3 in Canada only does 100 miles of range or something like that. No one, I don't know if anyone even bought one, but I'd be really curious to test one out. 160 mile range. Yeah. I'm just going to click climate control on here because it's getting a little warm. Yeah, 46 kilowatt at 51%. How do people still road trip these cars? This is crazy. We're doing Mini Cooper SE numbers now, which is, again, it's doable. You can make it there. It's just double your time. This is what gives electric car, this is what people think of when road tripping an electric car versus, road tripping a Model 3, which is zap up for 12, 15, 18 minutes and go. Still, the best road tripper is Model 3 long range rear wheel drive, aero wheels, lower the suspension a bit, then it doesn't feel like you're driving an EV. It's really awesome. Someone says I should sell my Model 3 for an older Model S. I have thought about this. I mentioned before, I've owned a Model S. Mine was a 2017, and I really loved that car. There's something about a Model S that just cruises down the highway so well. It makes me very happy to be in one of these. but I'd be giving up so much with the Model 3. The first is thermal longevity on the track. My car's out on track not every day, but at least a couple times a week, and a Model S will just thermal throttle instantly. So that's not really an option right there. It's the track stuff. Will I be doing a feature on the Roadster and Cybertruck when they're released? Yes, of course. So my friend Brian from I1Tesla, I'm sure you guys all know who he is, but if you aren't, type in I1Tesla into YouTube. You'll see him, another North Carolina YouTuber. He's way bigger than we are over here on this channel. Brian's doing some cool stuff, and he just got some sick new wheels for his Model Y. And Brian is getting a Roadster from the referral program, so I told him that I'd really love to do some track stuff with it, maybe break the cannonball record, the EV cannonball record that I hold. I'd really like to see. I think the Roadster is going to easily hold that record for a while. Lucid may have a chance as well. So yeah, Brian and I have talked. We're definitely going to do some stuff. We are now at 54% state of charge, doing 43 kilowatt. But we only need like a couple more percent to make it to Springfield. And then what I'm going to do is just kind of drive smoothly, slowly, maybe 75 miles per hour, and just set the cruise control and have a nice cruise there. The Model S's do have range mode, the earlier cars, and that just limits your heat and AC usage. In the dual motor cars, it prioritizes the front motor, so that you get a little bit more efficiency from the drivetrain. But this car only has one motor in the back, so you have nothing you can choose from there. So, yes. Oh yeah, the base Model 3 in Canada has 93 miles of range. And no one knows about this car, but it was just to get a tax credit for like the whole model lineup. And yeah, I think it's genius that they did that. I just really want to drive one. I don't know if you can even software update them after you buy it. So I think, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, those Model 3 93 mile range cars, they're locked in that state, even though they have a physically larger battery pack. It's a standard plus pack. Whoa, thanks for the super chat. I really appreciate it. That's awesome. Definitely pays for my Starbucks drink today. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. Will I buy FSD? No, I just don't think it's worth anything they're saying currently. And honestly, I don't keep a car long enough to justify it. If Tesla said you can buy FSD and then transfer it to your next one, now that is something I would really consider. But on average, I keep a car, average less than a year, but I'm trying to keep them for at least a year now. And especially because my car is 2 years free supercharging. They haven't made any totally updates to Model 3 long range performance. They're pretty much the same. I have the track pack wheels on my car. I don't even know what I would get if I were to sell it as a daily. The only other car that I really want is a Morgan three-wheeler, and that's not a great daily driver. And but yeah, I'll get a Morgan at some point when I can, but you really got to have like everything else totally set to go buy a Morgan. I wouldn't want to take out a loan to buy one of those. What is the best way to limit battery degradation? Keep your state of charge between 30 and 50% when possible. Try to avoid crazy fast charging. And what's interesting is what's good for the battery messes up BMS calibration a lot of times. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Someone emailed me. Yeah, what's interesting, James emailed me about Martian wheels. He was just saying, nice chat. Thanks for the response. I get a lot of questions on the Martian MW03 wheels that I have, and they are really awesome wheels. I don't have them on my car now because I have the track pack wheels on it, but they're super lightweight, super strong, big fan. I like them a lot. Also working with Ian Palvecco, who does fast wheels. They make super efficient Model 3 wheels that should fit over the performance. I believe they do. So I'm looking forward to the Fast EV01, I believe is the name, wheels. And we can do like a incredible range test. So Alyssa's grandfather drives a Model 3 rear-wheel drive long range. His was like the last one they made. It was after they had canceled it officially. You could like walk into the store and ask to like order a standard plus, and they could upgrade you to a long range rear. So he got in like within the last couple days, and so his pack is really fresh. The car only has a couple thousand miles on it. He charges it to 50% every day. Like that is the mint car. And we'll probably keep that in the family for a long time just because he's taking such good care of that battery pack. So, but the BMS is going to be super confused. Can we leave yet? 39 kilowatt at 57%. It says we'll make it to Springfield, Virginia supercharger at 5%. Let me show you what we're looking at here. So projected arrival 5% down here. 39 kilowatt, which is just crazy, really bad. 58% state of charge. And I think I really don't want to wait around here much longer. I think we've been here long enough. Let's just unplug and go, and if we can't make it, we'll stop at a supercharger along the way. But I'm not going to sit here at 38 kilowatt. So let me unplug and we'll go to the next. Let's wipe down the hands. Okay. All right. Smells like alcohol now. Car says stay below 60 miles per hour to make it, blah, blah, blah. You know what? We'll see how it does. But sometimes it gets very conservative in the beginning of the drive, and then we'll open up towards the end. So let's just go. Let me flip you around here. Someone's beeping, but not at me, thankfully. Someone in the Starbucks drive-thru. Yeah, I would be too if it takes a while to get Starbucks. That's really the only thing I get impatient about when I want my pink drink. Let's go wide open throttle really quick after a supercharge and floored. Spinning tires. Oh yeah, it hooked up at around 50 miles an hour. And now we need to conserve energy for this trip. So let's get up on the highway here. Hopefully I don't crash on a live stream. How bad would that be? That'd be pretty embarrassing. Why did the title say road trip? Well, I am road tripping. I'm driving home from Connecticut, which is about a 600-mile drive or so. And that is the reason for the road trip title, because we're on one. You're joining. We're going to have to go a little bit slowly here. You know what I did, which is really embarrassing? I just realized. I left the charge port open. I haven't spent enough time with older Model S's, but they don't close the charge ports when you unplug. So I'm driving down the road with the stupid flap open, which is not good for our aero advantage that we need, but that's okay. Let's set our non-autopilot cruise control at 70 miles an hour or so. We'll just kind of drive on through nice and easily. 118 miles. We have 50% state of charge. Let's take a look at our rated range. This is weird. The car's not driving itself. Not that it ever does, but 140 miles of rated range, and we have 117 to go. We can do that. That won't be a problem. It's nice out today. It's going to be 70 degrees. How long have I been driving? 168 miles so far. And we are off to the next charger. Should be about an hour and 50-minute drive going south on 95. Someone mentioned about the biofilter. This car does not have that. That came out in later revisions of Model S. And honestly, there are holes in these cars, wind leaks. I don't know if I buy this whole biohazard thing, to be honest. So not for me. This car, just for those who are asking, is showing 247 miles at a full charge. That's what I saw this morning. But again, the BMS is miscalculated. We can't go off of that number. There's no way to base degradation off of that. You guys think we could take this thing off a sick jump in front of us? Let me show you. I think if we just give it enough speed, we can get up and over this thing. Yeah, we have a lot of people joining us, so sorry if I repeat myself a few times, but I think it's fair to bring everyone up to speed for the sake of repetition. This car is not mine. It's my father's car. I picked it up at their house in Connecticut and am driving it south to Raleigh, North Carolina, which is where my home is. So we'll see if we see some interesting things. We're going to go through one of the, you would call this a péage in Europe, but here we just call them toll booths because we are not very sophisticated in the US. So there's a little transponder in the car that reads up to these sensors up here, and there you go. Oh, in Europe you call them a toll as well, maybe. I was in France and I guess in French it is péage. Yeah, we had a good trip. We just, Alyssa and I went to Europe this past summer. We didn't make any videos. I did like a Frankfurt auto show. Like, here's all the cool stuff there. All of the electric cars. But, yeah, we did 2 weeks, a little over a week in Europe. We flew into Paris, went up to Amsterdam, went to Frankfurt for the auto show, spent 2 days at the Nürburgring, and went down to Switzerland, back to Paris and home. Pretty awesome trip. Spent time in the Alps. I mean, places I had been, but not for a long time, and it was really cool to go. It was the first time I've driven in Europe. Before we went on family vacations and things, I wasn't able to drive, so I rented a Mercedes E-Class diesel. I actually requested a Jag I-Pace from Sixt. I was going to do a whole European electric car road trip. This is before I have access to press cars. Now if I go, I just call a manufacturer. I'm like, can I get something cool? Which is just amazing. So I go to pick up the I-Pace in Paris, and I'm like, yeah, hey, we have this whole plan with Sixt where I was going to get unlimited mileage with it. They're like, oh, well, we saw you had requested a vehicle, and so we reserved this E-Class for you, because all it said was I wanted something nice. So, not the end of the world. Didn't get a Euro road trip in an electric car out of it, but she and I had a good time, and I just pegged that car down the Autobahns at 155 miles per hour, which was its top speed, for like 3 days straight. It was great. There we go, adjusting this mount. It tends to, I think might have it a little bit too squozen, is that a word? It's squeezing the phone so hard that it's starting to slide out of the mount, is what I was trying to say. So what do you guys want to know? What should we talk about? What's on everyone's mind in the electric car world? Are we excited about Tesla stuff? Are we excited about non-Tesla stuff? I personally am very excited for the Rivians to launch, for Lucid to launch. I think those are going to be some awesome vehicles. I think Tesla's been honestly pretty dull. There's really been nothing new for like the last 2 years that's made it into production. They've given us 5 concepts now. No cars have made it. To be expected, but like our experience hasn't changed too much. Not that I need it to. I think the experience is still the best out there. It's the best in the business. So who's going to be the first to reach Tesla parity? I think the Taycan comes the closest, but the price just, it just loses it right there. Watt hour. Did I lose you guys? Am I back? Let me know if I'm back and if you can hear me. Back. Great. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, I think we switched cell towers there. Let's see. Now I forgot what we were talking about. Oh, we were talking about what's exciting, what's new, what are we looking forward to. And I lost my train of thought. Anyway, let me go up through the comments, see what you guys want to know. Oh, no more battery warranty on Model S. You're right. Let me clarify that. On 2012 early Model S, it's an 8-year unlimited mileage battery warranty. and therefore some of these cars are now going to be out of battery warranty. It does not scare me one bit. I think the car will, we have electrified garage now. They're moving into the track, actually. So for those who don't know, Rich Rebuilds is part of Electrified Garage. They've become very close friends of ours, and they are putting their second location at the track, and then they'll be doing Florida and a few other spots as well. So very excited to have them down at the track in North Carolina, and they're going to be able to service from South Carolina to DC within a pretty easy driving range out of that one spot. So they're covering a big area, sort of that whole mid-Atlantic, southeast. This thing is so difficult to find a technician that's great customer service, a technician that understands electric vehicles, and one that's willing to sort of take on a second location and run the day-to-day and do things like that. And honestly, I'm going to stay out of it for the most part. I already am completely booked up 99% of the time. So we think we found one guy, but fingers crossed that all comes through. But if you know someone who's a good tech, who's willing to, live in North Carolina, it's a great spot to live, let us know, reach out. And we've been posting job listings on Electrified Garage. And yes, Rich and I will do some collaborations. We've spent quite a bit of time together, just at different events and things. Rich wants to get into car reviews a little bit more, which I think would be interesting. So maybe we will hook him up with some of our press car access and let him review some stuff. I think it'd be kind of funny. I heard his Model S, the Dolores, that he turned supercharging back on, and now it's on a trip to California, which is pretty awesome. And so everyone's road tripping this week. Yeah, we've all been cooped up for so long. Road tripping in an electric car, as long as you're not going out and meeting a lot of people, I personally don't think it feels too dangerous. I'm no expert on the virus. I don't pretend to provide any advice whatsoever, but I feel very safe on this trip. And of course, I have my protective mask. Hey to everyone who's joined, thanks for tuning in to a road trip live. First one we've ever done like this. I think it's going pretty well so far. I don't know how long too long feels, but I guess we keep having more and more people join. So once everyone leaves, that's my cue to get out of here as well, I guess. Is the standard range Raven any good? Yes, of course, it's a fantastic car. If I remember correctly, there's a version of the standard Raven Model S that is the 100 kilowatt hour big battery pack that's software limited. And the reason I really like that is because you're able to charge very quickly to a very high state of charge, because it just limits top charge. So zero is really 0% in those packs on both, but 100% may only be 85% in a standard plus, so, or a standard range Raven. So same with the Model X 60Ds, Model S 60s. The reason I bring up Model X 60D is my dad actually, he's had quite a few Teslas, not just this one. He used to have a Model X 60D, and then we got him the 22-inch wheels, and I was like, good luck making it out of the driveway with that range. But he actually drove that car from, same trip we're doing now, from home in Stamford down to Raleigh to visit me, stopped at my sister at her college in Virginia when she was going there, and yeah, he made that trip in a 60D, but it really, I think, gave my mom a bad taste of EV road tripping. Then he got a Model 3 long-range rear-wheel drive, and that solved all the problems. And he's had some other really great Teslas as well. My favorite was a silver on white, best color combo in a Model 3, performance with upgrades. He was the first, if not one of the first, to get long-range rear-wheel drive on the East Coast, and then one of the first to get the performance Model 3, and that car was really hot. Really a cool car. I'm curious what all of you think about full self-driving option in Tesla. To me, I see almost no value except lane changes. I think, to me, I'm not going to make any predictions. I just don't see how they're going to accomplish much of what they're going to do with the current suite. I've been lucky enough to meet a lot of autonomous vehicle companies, meet with them, Aptiv, Argo AI. I've spoken to people at AP. They're all taking the best approach, which is not uncommon, and Tesla, of course, believes, but Tesla is so far out of right field. So either they absolutely have it nailed when it comes to this full problem, or ways to do it. I tend to sit back. I don't want to make any predictions. I'm just waiting to see what happens. I'm not smart enough to really make any predictions, but I think those that are saying their car drives itself now, it absolutely doesn't. Just assists with driving at this point. So pretty interesting stuff. It's going to be an exciting next 10 years. I think, if we look at from 2005 to 2015, we saw almost no progress when it came to the automotive industry, specifically gas cars. I mean, they really just got incrementally better, but nothing revolutionary. And now from like 2015 to 2025 is going to be like wild stuff. It's going to be like going from the 60s and 70s to the 80s when electronics started going in cars. Ooh, take a look at this Volvo V60 Polestar tuned T6. Very nice. You guys know I love Volvos, and love a good Volvo wagon. Always love a good Volvo wagon. Who doesn't? They're awesome. Practical, stylish, unassuming, very unpretentious, and fast. Love it. Model Y against Model 3. Yeah, Brian and I did some videos. Go over to I1 Tesla. He drag raced my car versus his Model Y performance. What else would you like to see there? We have the cars. Let's do some stuff. I'm fine with that. I love it when people email me with video ideas because honestly, the channel we have the access to really cool things. The reason it exists is just to share some of the cool things we're doing with you guys. Yeah. Oh yeah, the D4 Volvos are pretty strong. I've certainly seen a lot of videos with that. For those who don't know, I just had the T8 Polestar V60 on media loan. They gave it to me for 1 week, and I emailed Volvo press people. I'm like, can I have it another week? And it's just one of my favorite cars. If the Model 3 didn't exist, that's what I would be driving as a daily driver for sure. How do I get the chance to drive all these cars for free? Good question. Well, this is my dad's car, but I see what you're saying. Because Out of Spec has grown in numbers, and now I do work with Inside EVs and Motor One, their sister site. Basically, they come and drop a new media vehicle off every week for me to review. So a lot of them are gas cars. Like I have the Lexus LS500 this week that's sitting in the driveway at home. And it's a hybrid, but it has a really cool feature, which is when you back up, it will not let you crash into anything. I pointed that thing at the back of my smart car at like 5, 6, 7 miles an hour, and it was like, Teslas will let you smash into whatever you want, so I thought that was pretty impressive. Has massaging seats. Cool. Next week, I'm getting the Toyota Land Cruiser, which is, $100,000 high-riding SUV, but it's been like, it's the only vehicle that can be like run through Africa its whole life, across deserts, over mountains, put garbage fuel in it, and it just survives and takes it. It's the Toyota builds a really solid Land Cruiser right there. They go through extra durability testing cycles over the normal cars, so that'd be cool. Would I get the 2021 Venza? What a question. That is out of left field there. Okay, I don't know anything about the 2021 Venza, to be honest, but I will share a story about the Toyota Venza. My good friend Hannah, her mom drove a Chrysler Pacifica before they were the minivan, and I guess her husband, who drives a Model S, he has a 100D, bought her a Toyota Venza, and it's like her special car. So she will not... she drives the Pacifica every day to keep the miles off the Venza, gets parked in the back of the parking lot. She loves that car and doesn't ever see rain. So that's my Venza story. Pretty interesting. Maybe not. But yeah, okay. If the 21 Venza looks pretty good, I'm sure I can get one. If I do a video on it, you will be the only person interested, but I might, if I get the car, maybe I'll do a video on it. That sounds pretty fun. Interesting. It'd be nice to see a race between a diesel car and a Model 3 long range. Oh, great. I see what you're saying. Leave with a, like, most efficient road tripping electric car, Model 3 long range rear wheel drive, and drive it cannonball style, like when I went New York to LA to do that, and then compare it to a gasoline car or diesel powered car with a lot of range to see how far behind you are. Like, what is the benchmark progress for today? I love that idea. Something I think we may do. We definitely have the cars to do it. We should. And what I'd be really curious, though, is does the Kyle Connor out-of-spec road tripping style, like how much faster is that than the normal person using the in-car Tesla trip planner? I'd say over a long trip, significantly faster by many hours. But yeah, we'll see. We shouldn't have chat on while driving. Well, I can see the road when I look at the phone, and I don't have to type anything to talk, so I think we're pretty safe here. I'm going pretty slow in the right lane anyway, as you can see from everyone passing me. Oh, so some guys did this race. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'd be very curious to see. Yeah. Oh, motor whirring on your Model S 85. Interesting. My friend Mike just bought a Model S P85 Plus, similar to this car, and his car had 70,000 miles on it. It had the original motor, which is very rare for Model S's to have the original motor because the bearings tend to wear down, they short, and it creates these little indents, pebbles, I forget the exact term, but it makes this noise as you drive around. And yes, there is now a new process at Tesla we found out to get your motor replaced. Previously, you'd say, oh, my car is making the whirring, buzzing sound. Can you give me a new motor? And I'm going to show you this nice bridge that we're driving over as we talk. And Mike brought his car in because it has the original drive motor. This one, in this particular car I'm driving, was replaced, I believe, in 2015 or 2016, as was the battery pack, actually, which is very rare. And they said that his motor was 3 decibels too quiet to require a replacement. So we're like, okay, we'll just go rip it and make it as loud as we can. And that's what we did. But he just traded that car in on a Volvo V90 of all things. So that's the white Volvo you see in the driveway. The Susquehanna River, that sounds about right. Yes, that's where we are. And the reason we're going slow is because the charging's slow on this car. And I would really like to not sit at superchargers for more than 20 minutes or so. But we're not going that slow. We're doing 70 miles an hour. We're going with traffic. I have that noise on my 2014. How do you check? Typically, Tesla will not give you service records for a car that's been owned by someone else, which I think is pretty interesting because you're the legal owner of that vehicle now. I think it varies by service center, but you can kind of ask them to just be like just go up to one of the guys and be like, hey, has my car had a motor? And they should be able to look it up, even if it's official or not allowed. They should tell you if your car's had a new motor or not. But if you have the noise, you will warrant a replacement. Absolutely. Get it in before your drivetrain warranty is done. Just rip on the car as hard as you can. Don't take it on the track. Don't do anything that Tesla can go back and say, well, it's because you drove it hard on the track. But drive it, see if, get that noise level up, get a new motor for sure. It's definitely a design flaw that should be warranted. Why do I have 2 smart cars at out of spec? Well, because they're the best car on the planet. They're small, nimble, and cool. So the silver one that you see in the videos has a dead onboard charger. And that was my old smart car that I sold to friends of mine locally who sold it back to me once the car stopped working. I ordered a new charger. It just arrived. I don't know if you guys remember Lee from Rich Rebuilds videos. Lee, who's also a friend, had an extra smart car charger that he sent. We're going to try and get that car up and running. My friend pulled the high voltage disconnect on the battery when that car was at 60% or 50% state of charge. So I hope the battery's okay, but it will not energize until it sees a good charger. So that's going to be a little bit of a project. And I actually didn't buy it back. Our track operator, Sam, which anyone who's been to our track days will know Sam. He's the best. He bought that car to use around the facility. So when he does motorcycle track days and stuff, I'm going to fix this camera really quick. That did not do a thing. Okay, I'm not going to fix the camera. Anyway, Sam's going to use around the track. And then my white one's what we use for filming. So that is, I couldn't imagine life without an electric smart car to cruise around in. They really are one of the best. News on electrified garage coming to NC Car. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit earlier, and they are planning to come to the track. It's just hard to find an employee to work there who's good at customer service and can handle the workload of working on Teslas and is familiar, because there won't be a lot of training for this location, right? They're a very small team. They're based in New Hampshire. It's going to be difficult to get up. So, I think what would be an interesting video would be to compare a used Model S to a new Model 3. And that would be kind of interesting to see. Because roughly, you could get a nice AP1 Model S, probably even a 90D. I don't know what they go for, but I think probably mid $40,000 range, or a standard plus Model 3. And that's a close comparison right there. I don't know which I would choose. Someone's commenting in a different language. Sorry, but I can't understand it, so I apologize. If I was at home, I'd throw it into a translator, but maybe you could do that on your side. I imagine if you can understand me, you could respond in English, maybe. It's so great to see how far people come from to watch. We have, in YouTube analytics, we can see where everyone is watching from, and primarily we're US, UK, Canada, Australia, but we get some like Namibia's. Am I back? Let me know. Sorry about that. I think I keep switching cell towers as I drive along, so I'm not quite sure if there's a solution to that particular problem. Yep, great, cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. So, what do you guys think about the Mini Cooper SE? We did quite a few videos on it, and I think I'm a huge fan. I think that would be a smart car replacement. Both pretty small. The Mini's a way better car than the smart car, no question. But the smart car's rear-wheel drive, so it can do big skids. Yeah, I love the Mini SE. I think that was a really cool car. It's just a little bit unfortunate to see BMW Group taking such a slow approach to making new EVs. They really were hitting it on point with the i3 from a technological perspective, but I think they really lost a little bit of it. Yeah, Honda E, someone mentioned. I love the Honda E. If you haven't seen it yet, because many Americans don't know about it, Google Honda E right now. You will see the coolest looking electric little car with giant screens, and you can make them have a fish tank inside of it. I love it. And we were talking about this on the Inside EVs podcast, which we just started. So if you want another electric car podcast to listen to, there's so many. Inside EVs has one now. And so yes, we talked about that on there, and I love the Honda E, but it's not coming to the US, unfortunately, at least that I'm aware of. Yeah, the screen, you get digital side mirrors like e-tron in Europe. That's not allowed in the US, unfortunately. So we can't get any cool stuff. We don't get cool headlights in the US. All the matrix moving around high beams, that's not legal in our country. At least yet, we're very far behind in our Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards, FMVSS. And they take a while to get rewritten. Europe gets all the cool stuff. Why are so many cars not in the US? That's why. It's we have weird regulations. We also have a weird buying market. We are all about the SUVs, CUVs, SAVs, small crossover cars, which I agree are really cool and great. I like them too. But I still think a wagon is a better compromised between handling and space. And so that's why I think you see a lot of the true car enthusiasts will drive a fast wagon like an E63S, or a Model S qualifies, I think. So yeah, that's why I like Model S. If Model 3 had a hatchback, I'd be way more into it than I am, even though I love my car. Let me pull up the chat here. Sorry about that. Yeah, well, I can do a video on the Honda E. I just need to line one up next time I'm in Europe. I was supposed to go to China, and I don't think I want to do that quite yet. So yeah, I mean, I was going to have a big 2020 travel year for Out of Spec, make some cool videos, also for my main gig at Inside EVs and Motor One. So yeah, we'll see. We will see. Flip this around so you can see where we're going. Just cruising. It's a very nice day. 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Car is back to reading temperature. Couldn't ask for better conditions for a road trip. Traffic's relatively light. Someone mentioned Xpeng, and I think that's a really cool company. Definitely someone to keep their eye on. I've been following them for a while now. The Xpeng G3, Bjorn did a video on it. I really wanted to do the first one, but obviously I can't get a hold of the cars, and Bjorn did a great job. The Xpeng G3, Xpeng G3, look it up on Google, has like this hat or growth on the roof of the car. And what this growth is, by the way, this car is like a small crossover electric vehicle that has like a Model X windshield and stuff. And it has this growth on the roof that when you get out of the car, pops up, swivels around to you, and then you can signal to it and it takes a picture of you. It's a selfie cam on the roof. How cool is that? It is the most, Chinese market specific thing there is. I love it. I want that feature on a car. I love weird, quirky features like that. And I think it's such a funny thing. It also could do like, swivel cam, helicopter view stuff, but it's a selfie cam is what it really is. And for them to put that on the roof and give up range and efficiency and add cost just so you can take a picture of yourself as you exit your Xpeng G3, that's pretty funny. Right, yes, sorry, I should have clarified. Bjorn Nyland, the OG, Uncle Bjorn. We all love Bjorn. And he is one of the best electric vehicle YouTubers there is. Does a lot of range tests and things like that. Actually, our videos are starting to become a little bit similar. I definitely don't want to, step on his content or anything, step on his toes, but Bjorn's awesome. Love him. Certainly have talked to him a few times, and he spends a lot of time doing what he does. He's dedicated. That guy hustles, no question. What do I think about pickup trucks? Oh, good question. I was in Texas recently with Don Miller from Our Tesla Model X Journey, another YouTube channel. And we were driving around and we were looking at all the trucks that are actually towing and things like this. And we talked a lot about Rivian and the Cybertruck and how these vehicles are actually going to be used. And if you look at any towing videos with a Model X or e-tron or one of these electric cars, you'll just see how inefficient these cars are when towing. So I'm honestly very concerned about the image electric pickup trucks may have. Although they might be very capable on paper, you don't drive cars on paper, and I still don't think we have cracked the towing long distance problem with electric pickup trucks. I just think we'll get there at some point, but right now, based on the specs, if a Cybertruck can go 600 miles by itself, it's going to go 200 miles with the trailer on the back, and that's 100% to zero. And what you're really going to do is charge it till it tapers, so you're only going to be getting about 140 miles out of it, and that's not feasible driving across Texas. I'm sorry, but so we'll see. Maybe there'll be some tech that comes out, but on the face of it right now, I think electric pickup trucks as work vehicles, we're a little bit far away from that. But electric pickup trucks from an everyday driver perspective, like where I live in New York City, where I live in Raleigh, North Carolina, like if you see a Ferrari, Lamborghini, those are cool. But if you see a lifted Silverado on 40-inch tires, you're like, whoa. So, for stuff like that, electric trucks make a lot of sense. You can put a lot of batteries in them, get a lot of range, tons of performance. Weight's not really a big of a factor. So yeah, sure, go right ahead. I think it's great. I personally don't like the look of the Cybertruck. I'm just not into it. But I got to see it in person. I was at the launch event with Brian, and it just doesn't do it for me. Not my kind of thing. I think the tech though is going to be what really draws me to that car, and a lot of people. Do you think it's a must-have to have a radar detector in a Tesla? Yeah, but you got to know how to use your radar detector, understand the signals it's giving you, and do some interpretation. A lot of people put a radar detector up and slam on the brakes every time it beeps. It's not the way to use a radar detector. It's really like a conversation with what signals are going around, where the threats could be. Police officers could be checking speed, and you just got to use it properly. A lot of people don't as much, but Alex Roy has a great video from years ago on how to properly use a radar detector. He did it for the Drive, so go back and watch those videos if you're curious. He and Dave Maher, they held the Cannonball record for a while. They did a great video on that. F-150 has a 36-gallon tank. Yeah, you're right. Big tanks. Like I said, I'm getting this Land Cruiser next week for the purpose of towing, right? I'm going to be going from Raleigh to Rocky Mount an hour one way, each direction, and with a trailer on the back. And honestly, I'm pretty happy that I can just go there and back, move, not have to worry about charging or gas or anything like that. Just go. I love electric cars. I think they solve a lot of needs, a lot of problems, but not everything yet. And that's okay. We're still early days here. We'll look back at 30, 40 years and be like, remember kids when we had to supercharge for 20 minutes? It'll be it's kind of fun being in the early pioneering days. Let's see. This person's really going heavy on the numbers. Hello from Ukraine. Hello from the U.S. Very cool. Law enforcement, I would say as a whole, don't think, someone commented, law enforcement think people with Tesla are speed demons. I would argue they just look at it on a case-by-case basis. I don't get the impression that Tesla owners are speed demons. I mean, I try to race Teslas at lights in my car, and they don't do anything. I just think people who buy Teslas are just general drivers these days. It's not like early days enthusiasts, when this car came out, this 2013 Model S, there's just normal people. My mom drives a Tesla. She's not looking to race anyone. She does drive fast though, so that is interesting. Funny story. I was driving with my mom. She was driving my long-range rear-wheel drive Model 3. This was a couple years ago, and we're going up Florida, on the west coast of Florida. And I look over and she's doing like 105 miles an hour, just cruising. I love my mom. She's great. She really does fly. It is incredible how quickly she goes. So if you ever see a white Model 3 Standard Plus, that's what she drives, going past you at like 120, just driving normally. She doesn't use autopilot, not interested, doesn't want to do any of that stuff. She just gets in, foot to the floor. So an electric car is perfect for her. Yeah. What do I think about Model X? Model X feels old to me. And I've never loved it. I think they're cool and interesting. my best friend Ben, who is our roommate at home. That's why we share the sides of the garage. That's what we're also moving out. We're not living together, so we have a lot of cool changes going on. But Ben owned a Model X 90D, and we used that car all the time. We basically shared the cars in the driveway, and it was an early one, and it felt like it was falling apart. And so the new ones are definitely screwed together better. The automatic doors are the best part, no question. But for me as a driver, I don't like the seating position. This is the same mom that freaked out at the track. Yes, she doesn't like to she likes to drive. She does not, yeah. 2 police officers follow you in a Tesla, you're driving 10 below the limit. Yeah, they were just following you, and driving below the limit could be suspicious as well. So I don't know what kind of vibes you were giving off, but you know, they don't pull you over just for speeding. Sometimes they do searches, etc. You know, they can pull you over for any probable cause. Do I think Tesla will update Model X this year or next, or probably Model S first? When I was at the factory recently, I went to go see, and I think I can talk about this because this was before I signed my NDAs. I saw a Model S in the parking lot that had taillights that are like the Model 3. Basically, you can't see the individual bulbs. They were, gosh, why can't I think of the word? Homologous, something like this. Anyway, the new taillights, it sat real nice and beefy. It looked like it was one of the Nürburgring cars, you know, suspension setup wise. The interior was a little different. The top of the door was white, and they had covers all over it, and they were pushing it into the back of a truck. I thought that was pretty interesting. Have I ever been pulled over? Of course, many times. I have, yeah, I've been pulled over a lot. My license is good, though. I don't do anything crazy on the street. You know, I drive quickly, but I'm not driving like an idiot. You know, basically my whole thing is I go as quickly as I can without getting in anyone's way, without bothering them. And there is a safe way to go quickly, but honestly, I've slowed down so much now that I have access to the track every day. If I want to go fast, I get on the racetrack, get it out of the system, and then go back home on autopilot at 10 over. You know, it's just kind of cruise around. Good questions, though. Good questions, for sure. Oh, click the music button by accident. Oh, we got a lot coming in here. I'm trying to see. Let's see. Would I buy a 2020 Model 3 or Model Y? Personally, I think there's very few reasons why anyone would buy a Model 3 over a Model Y now. The Y is just a better car. You know, it's got more space. It's not that much more expensive. You're not really giving up anything. The only thing is track mode is you don't have. So I would say the percentage of people buying a performance upgrades car and then going to the track in their family hatchback is very low. So I'd say that's not even a you know, a concern for most people. So yeah, I think I'd get a Model Y 100%. I've done quite a few videos on Model Y, but if you really want the like newest updated stuff with Model Y, look at Brian I Won Tesla's channel. He was lucky to get the first one out of our local delivery center in North Carolina in Charlotte, and he did a great video series on that car. Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining everyone who's new. I'm road tripping at Model S P85 Plus from Connecticut down to home in Raleigh, North Carolina. Do I think Tesla will release a new affordable car in 5 years? I don't know. I think I mean, if you're going to go for like a $25,000 gas car, you can sometimes make the case to bump that to a $35,000 electric car. I think anyone who really wants a Model 3, not saying they financially should, but a lot of people, you know, if you have good enough credit, you probably just finance one. Model 3 for $500 a month or whatever it is. A large percentage of the population can probably afford that in this country, in metropolitan areas. But I don't really see the need for Tesla to make an affordable EV. What I would want is third-party companies, legacy automakers, to make a big effort to make EVs inexpensive. So I think the the Mini Cooper SE is a great value at 29 grand before the $7,500 tax credit, and then in like New Jersey, for example, you get an extra like 3 or 4 grand off of that. You're in the teens for a brand new car after your credits. That's awesome. And for those who can't take advantage of their credits, like their liability for their taxes isn't high enough, their tax liability, they can always buy one used. They're going to tank in value. Just buy one CPO. Tesla leasing, yay or nay? If you like leasing, that's great. Sometimes there's business cases to lease. If you don't want to deal with reselling, great. Technology changes a lot. I know a lot of people who lease these cars because they genuinely believe they'll be worth nothing in a couple years. We'll see. I don't know. I tend to believe they will be worth something, but leasing takes that burden off of you. You don't have to worry about it. You just give it back at the end. So I definitely understand the appeal to leasing. Oh, good question. Used Model S 100D or new Model Y? That's a tough one. Model S cruises better. Model Y's got better tech, better charging. Just depends on, I guess, what you're really looking for out of a car. I personally would go for Model Y. I like the new battery pack. Charging curves better. I think Model Y's got a lot of cool tech in it, so I would definitely go for that. Yeah, interesting question. You can see here we're coming down close to Baltimore now, Maryland, and nice easy trip, good day for road tripping. You can see if you're not in the US, this is a common sight. Of course, we have pickup trucks quite everywhere. What year is the Model S? This particular one is a 2013 P85 Plus. Oh, yes, the new service center in Raleigh. So the Tesla in Raleigh, which is where I live, it is wild. They have sales in an old, tiny, basically garage building, and they have service in another one of those little tiny garages like down the street. And it's amazing to see how much volume those stores do, and it really shows you that you don't need a big, beautiful dealership to sell these cars. Now, with that said, it would be nice. So Tesla's building a beautiful, massive, Charlotte-sized sales and service center in Raleigh, and it's right off of one of our main roads, Glenwood Avenue. I'm very excited for it, and it looks like it's almost done. I mean, the building's painted. They have everything but the Tesla words up on the side. And yeah, I'm pretty pumped for that. A lot of people were hoping that they would put superchargers at this particular service center, and I understand why they should not. I tend to believe they shouldn't. The problem with superchargers at sales and service centers is you get customers who want to go in and just talk about Tesla or electric cars, and that just holds up the operation of everything inside the building. Like that same trip I was talking about earlier where Don and I went to Texas, we stopped at a supercharger in Houston, Texas, and like the only people inside, there were quite a few of them, were just Tesla owners clogging up productivity time from employees. So yeah, I tend to believe Tesla's supercharger should be away from service centers. I'll show you these roads that we're driving on are quite bumpy. We're coming down into Baltimore, which then leads to Washington, D.C. And man, the roads and the traffic and everything is just so around here. Yeah, someone was asking what the difference is between P85, P85 Plus. Again, we covered it earlier, but I understand people are coming in and out, so no problem. And it's just a suspension change, basically, just beefed up for better handling. I was happy with someone asked me, am I happy with my Model S? This one isn't mine. This is my dad's car, but I am going to have it for the next few weeks, and it is for sale. Model S P85 Plus, and I think the Model S is one of the all-time best cars of the 2010s, right? But it feels a little bit old now that we're in 2020. So I really hope they update this thing. I'm very pleased with it, but it just, it's been the same for almost 8 years now. So let's do some updates, some serious work, because now you have a situation where your volume car, your Model 3, is significantly better than your top-of-the-line Halo. Well, that's really the Roadster, but the luxury offering. So it's a hard sell for someone to buy a new Model S over a new Model 3 for that much of a price difference. So thoughts on battery day. We talked about it a little earlier. I'm excited. I am not going to make any predictions because I have none. I hope it's something interesting, and I hope we see some real progress pushed forwards. Honestly, if you think about it on the face of things, not much has changed since 2012 with Model S85 in terms of battery tech. It's been very small incremental improvements. I really want to see something really move this bar forwards, and they're promising 600 miles of range in Cybertruck. Maybe that was 500, and then Roadster 600 miles of range. So I think we'll see something interesting if they're going to live up to these specs, but they definitely have to. What exit am I on? Are you going to try and catch up? Let's see. I'm going by exit 55. I guess I'm going right into the tunnel here. I'm going to go into the Easy Pass lane. So these are our toll booths coming into Baltimore. Regen down to 40 miles an hour so we can read our toll pass. For this particular stretch, because I've been driving closer to 70, 75 miles per hour, we've averaged 286 watt hour per mile, which is really, really efficient for a Model S of this size. Way more efficient than my Model 3 performance on the 20-inch wheels. So, and this one's on 21s. And here we go into the tunnel. Sorry if I lose you. Yeah, this is cool. It looks real blurry on the camera though. Where's my Tesla hoodie? I do not have a Tesla hoodie. I'm probably, I really don't have any Tesla gear. I'm not really a Tesla lover. I drive one because it's the best option, but I certainly like all EVs, not just Teslas. I try to take an objective stance on it. I have a lot of friends that hate Tesla. I have a lot of friends that love Tesla. I put myself right in the middle. It's kind of interesting hearing both sides of the equation. And I try to have no emotion towards it. But I do tend to believe that Tesla still makes the best electric car in the market. I don't know how anyone can say anything different from a price perspective. Yeah, low volume of traffic. I drove up yesterday through, honestly, commuting times in DC, and there was none. Look at this old S600 V12. Love this. This is the best generation S-Class. What a tank. These things will be on the road longer than cockroaches will live. Pretty incredible machines. Love those things. Let's see how we're looking for our trip. Our projected arrival is at 6% in Springfield, Virginia, so I was right leaving early. And we're at 32% state of charge. Our charging flap is still open, of course, because I forgot to shut it from the last supercharger. For those who have just joined, we're driving down the road with the charging flap open, but I don't want to get out and fix it. So if we can make it there, people can laugh at us. I don't care. It's my dad's car anyway. People think it's him. Your Starbucks in hand. Yes, talked about that earlier, about my exact drink order, and love it. So this is interesting. This is how Volkswagen ships cars, by the way. There's a port right around here that the cars come in on, And so you can see they sort of come half covered. Audis come in a full jacket, and I think Volkswagen Audi Group does the best job trying to protect their cars from a shipping standpoint from damage. So, and these are just basic entry-level Volkswagens right here, all covered up. Very few automakers do it that well. Couple questions about the charging port. The reason it doesn't close is this is an old Model S, and older Model S's do not have automatic charge port doors. They open, but they do not close by themselves. So we're sort of out on that one. Let's see really quick. I'm just going to go up. Do I think there's a problem with 120 volt charging? No, I don't. I just think because the BMS is going to be, a lot of times with that is you're never going to complete charging and let the car sit. It's sort of just always going to be drive, charging, and your BMS will probably get a little confused because of that. So what I mean by that is when the car displays 60% charge, you may either be at 55% actually or 65% actual. So you just don't sometimes know which direction it's gone. There are some things you can do to retrain it and get it back in stock. In spec, I should say. So do you guys have any more questions? I'm kind of thinking we should probably wrap up the live stream. I don't know, are you guys enjoying this? I certainly have had fun. We've been doing it way longer than I expected. It's sort of like a out-of-spec road trip video that just doesn't end. I'm with you guys all day. So certainly having fun. What is the rattling sound in the car? Probably my luggage in the back. The rear tailgate is making a slight noise, but they all do on these cars. I mean, old Model S's are not bank faults. Oh, well, thanks for the comments on the live stream. It sounds like people are enjoying them. Yeah, I was very curious. I've sort of been hesitant to do live streams because, I put out on Twitter. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, it's at @outofspec_ in between, out of spec, just one in between. And I sort of asked, do people want to do live streams? There's very little response, so I was thinking that most people wouldn't be interested, but yeah, it's been great. We've had way more people on than I thought. Again, this is still early in the morning for East Coast. California hasn't woken up yet, so it's pretty incredible to see the response at probably the worst time to do a live stream. So I'm very pleased with that. What do I think about the Mustang Mach-E? Oh, this is a great car. I've got to spend a little bit of time with it, and it is a really cool machine. I think Ford engineers are really trying to put their best foot forward with this car. Now, I'm going to stay out of should they have called it a Mustang, yes or no. I see both sides. I tend to side with Ford, though, because, if you're really going to make a splash, put your effort into it. If the future is electric, you really need to show the world that you are serious about making an electric car. And what name does Ford have that carries more weight than the Mustang name? So for them to throw that on the Mach-E, I mean, no question, these guys are serious. I spent probably an hour with the chief engineer of Mach-E, geeking out about the nerdy details. We went in depth on the suspension design, the battery tech. It was very interesting, and I can tell you the team is pumped up and really working hard on this car. So I'm excited to get one. I'm certainly going to get one to review and play around with as soon as they're in the press fleets. And yeah, I think it's going to be a real winner. Now, would you buy that over Model Y? That's going to be the question. There's a lot of people that won't buy Teslas just for whatever reason. Whether they don't like the company, they don't like the image, they're Ford people, they want an open charging network. I know someone who won't buy a Tesla because they don't want to be locked into the Tesla plug. And everyone has their own reasons, whether justified or not. It's justified to them, and they should be able to have optionality of vehicles to purchase. Like basically you can buy a Toyota Camry or a Honda Accord and you're still going to make it everywhere. We should be able to get to that point with electric cars, and I'm really excited for that day. And I think we're not far off. The Electrify America network is coming along very nicely. It's not perfect. They still glitch out from time to time, but they're putting their effort in, albeit they're forced to put their effort in, but they're still doing it. So, oh, cool to see that someone got a Tesla after watching our videos. That's awesome. Certainly love to share what these cars can do on trips. And a lot of people have done the opposite. They've gone and bought a gas car from our road trips, and honestly, that's up to them. It's really me showing you what it's like to drive an electric car, and that's really my point here. Lexus Autopilot or Tesla? Well, I've been driving the LS500H this week, and that has Toyota's highest suite of, I do have a referral code. I put it in the description of some of my newer videos because people were emailing me a lot and use it. A lot of people have used it. Thank you very much to everyone. So I was using Lexus's top level safety suite, and at high speed it ping pongs, but it does some things. It makes automatic lane changes like autopilot. You click the turn signal, it moves over and passes. It's not bad, really not bad. Just doesn't have as smooth lane centering as I would like. For those who have just tuned in, I'm driving from Connecticut to North Carolina in a 2013 Model S P85 with 112,000 miles on it. Oh, is the camera rattling against the windshield? Sorry about that. Let's see if we can smooth this out a little bit. I'm going to shove it in a little more. Let's see if that goes away. No more rattle. Great. Sorry. Thank you for letting me know. It's great when it pops up because I'm not staring at the camera all the time here to see. New car for the channel? No, this is my dad's car. It's he's been driving it for a few months, but they're down in Florida, and he left this at their place in Connecticut, and they weren't doing anything with it. So I said I'd take it down, and then he's like, well, I may as well sell it. So it's for sale, but give me a couple months, maybe 4 weeks or so, just to get some videos out with this car, and then I'll help him sell it. But I have the title in the car, so if anyone wants it, you can just shoot me an email. I think he only wants like 31 grand, 32 grand for it. And this is a lot of car for the money. This is $120,000 new, this car. He's asking very reasonable about. It's a very clean car. Obviously, I make him take care of it, leave the battery at 50% charge when he's not around and stuff like that. It's been babied. Yeah, 31 grand is great, especially because it's the P85 Plus. It's a very rare trim level. It has beefed up suspension. It's very cool. And I'd love it to go to one of our viewers of the channel. I think that'd be really awesome to keep this car in the family, more or less. Tesla Model 1, I don't know anything about that in China, sorry. A lot of rumors. I honestly try not to buy into the hype until the cars are on the road. I think we are going to see, especially after this virus, right now the only casualty that I've heard of from the electric car world is the Rivian and Lincoln project, but Lincoln will go through Ford's in-house technology for that project, so it's not like the car is gone. The Mach-E was delayed 2 weeks, Lucid was delayed, but that was the only cancellation. But I think we'll see more if this keeps going on longer. Thoughts on heat pump for efficiency? Sure, why not? If you can accomplish the same task and do it more efficiently. Sorry, not coronavirus, just had something caught in my throat. Here, I'll show you. There's a police car up here. Let's take a look. It's got a customer, as we say. To block it. Yep, well, you didn't see it, but we drove. Bad timing. a lot of people in the videos, I find this so in police. So I did this video comparing my Crown Vic police car that I own to my Model 3 Performance, to like which would make a better police car. It's kind of like a funny, joking video. It wasn't anything super serious. And the video did very well, and a lot of people were curious about U.S. police. So in my road trip videos, whenever I include someone pulled over, you know, it's just a string of comments about what's it like to get pulled over in the U.S., things like this. Where did I get the Martian tires? Are you asking about the wheels or the tires? Well, the wheels Martian sent to me to make videos. I think it was a good deal on their part. I mean, I'm happy to be very transparent. It was, you know, they basically just sent us the wheels, and I think we sold like 30, 40 sets, like maybe more. Actually, definitely more than that. People really love those wheels. I do too. They're great. The tires, I just went to Discount Tire, put the cheapest ones on, and drifted all day. Yeah, see, we get another side. Tesla doesn't know what they're doing. And in a lot of respects, they don't. They really have these weird oversights with their cars, with the company. But from my perspective, I still think overall they make the best electric cars. But there's a lot of room for other manufacturers to step in and solve a lot of it. Another car, we were talking about Mach-E before. Another car I'm excited about are the Polestar and Volvo electric cars. As you guys know, I'm a big Volvo fan. And oh, someone commented, you know, you don't pronounce the E in Altamonte Springs. That's so funny. It's been a running joke, sort of like the ring on the windshield of my Model 3. I kept saying Altamonte Springs, Florida, and that's sort of stuck around, which is cool. Yeah, Tesla service, another one commented they don't know what they're doing. I've heard very mixed stories about service. It'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. Personally, I have never had a bad experience with service. I've had like hiccups and weird things, but I would never say it's been bad. And very recently, it's been very professional. I don't know if it's because of me making videos now that they're being extra by the book, but I bring my car in, I get it back within a couple hours. They're like, oh, by the way, we comped that. We shouldn't have, but we goodwilled that. I hope I don't get any special treatment. I do not want any. I want the full customer experience. And I think it's likely that I am getting the regular customer experience because my channel is very small. You know, we really don't make a dent in the industry here. So I think they're just being really good to their customers, specifically out of Raleigh. Yeah, I've been impressed. And speaking of Model 3, look what we're behind. A black Model 3 without badges. So it could be an early rear-wheel drive, a standard plus, or a long-range rear-wheel drive. And similar to my old Model 3, I had a black one, my rear-wheel drive. Washington, D.C. plates, aero wheels. Here we go. Going for the pass. No wave. Sometimes Tesla owners just don't wave. A lot of times on transit routes they do because you're kind of road tripping. But that's okay. They're just driving their car. It's cool. I'm actually happy that we've gotten past the enthusiasts just buying the car and normal people are buying it. That's been the goal for Tesla all along. So we have another 40 minutes to our supercharger. We're at 25% state of charge, 290 watt-hour per mile on this leg. Projected arrival 8% now. So you can see Trip Planner really just tries to get you sitting at the chargers way too long. You definitely got to leave early. And I mean, we would have been still sitting at that supercharger if we listened to the car. So definitely made the right move by heading out early. But I think we should start wrapping up the live stream. It's cool to see that this worked well. I hope you all enjoyed it. Definitely went on a long time. I've been talking a lot. How was the Model S on the Merritt Parkway? It's fine. I mean, the Merritt's just a great road. I used to commute on it, and I had a John Cooper Works GP Mini Cooper that I used to just rip up and down the Merritt, just open, zigging around, but I don't drive like that on the street anymore. And the Merritt's a fantastic highway, really fun. Well, I think we should probably call it. Maybe if something interesting, I'll hop back on. If something interesting happens, I'll hop back on in a little bit. But I don't foresee that happening. I think this is going to be a very routine, easy trip. I probably only have another 3 hours to get home. I'm in DC, so maybe 4 hours. I'll probably stop off at the track, leave this car there, bring something else home. I don't know. We're moving this week, so we have a lot of cars to shuffle around. And what exit am I? Sure, I'm happy to show you. If you can come catch up to me, that'd be pretty fun. I'm at 32, 31, 33. I don't know, something around here. That's where I'm at. So thanks to everyone for tuning in. Hopefully we'll catch you on another one of these. And definitely, if you have ideas for videos, shoot me a message. You can reach out anytime. A lot of times the emails go to my spam, so you can always just comment on a video, or the best thing, honestly, is just to tweet me at Out of Spec. I've been getting into Twitter. I just got it, but it's been working out really well. It's a great way to communicate with our viewers. So thanks, guys, and thanks to those who jumped in the Super Chat. Really appreciate that. Not needed, of course, but always very kind. And we'll see you guys on the next live stream. For those asking, I'm not sure what the next video will be for Out of Spec. I don't honestly have much in the backlog. I have a Mini Cooper SE full track review, and those videos did better than expected, but it's not really a track car. Instagram's fine as well. You can Instagram me at Out of Spec Motoring. So peace, guys. I'll see you. Boston Mike. You comment on all my videos. Thank you very much. Your name, I just love it. Boston Mike. What a good handle. So I'll see you guys later on, and we'll talk later. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully you all stay safe, of course. I think that's most important here. So I'll take the burden of road tripping for all of you guys. All right. See ya. If I can figure out how to get off of this thing, I'll end it. Here we go. Bye-bye.